how many of you are magical practitioners? Cool. How many of you have ever done a money spell? How many of you have had one work? Why are y'all here? Okay. You know, there are a lot of little simple things that you can do to bring money to you. But I think the reason that people foul up with money spells or money magic is because, A, they don't feel they really deserve it. I can't even tell you how many times I've had somebody say, oh, you know, but if I use magic to better my life or to my own benefit, then I'll lose my magic. Now, folks, I gotta tell you, that's the biggest bunch of bullshit anybody ever wanted you to swallow. To start with, knowing how to work magic and not using it to better your own life is like standing at the kitchen sink, dying of thirst because you're too lazy to turn on the fucking tap, okay? So, don't go there. Another reason that a lot of people don't draw money to them is because they think like poor people. Smart man once told me, Dorothy, you want to be rich, you got to think like a rich man. Now, this doesn't mean that you overspend, but you have to take a chance. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in your own success. I have a friend in, a couple in Omaha, Nebraska that have a store. And when they first started out, Charlie and Cindy were so careful about making sure that the prices in their store were really, really low. Now, granted, you know, retail is a cutthroat business. But what they learned in a hurry was that if you price things too low, people think there's something wrong with them. Okay? You don't want to be real high with stuff, but you have to price things right. I was at a traditional folk magic festival in New Orleans last November, and there was this little guy there who was doing, he was a root doctor, and he had these great oils. He was doing foot washings and head washings, and he had these wonderful oils, and he was doing readings, and I said, Mark, you know, how much are your readings? And he looked at me really embarrassed, and he said, $10. Mark, how much are you charging for that foot washing? $5. His oils were like $8. And it was like, oh no, darling, you know, we're gonna fix this. And so, you know, I'm very bossy. I've never met this kid before in my life, right? And I walk right inside and I grab a piece of cardboard and I make him a price list. And I throw it on his table, and I get a bottle of my out-of-the-way oil, which is a road opener, and fast cash, which of course is a cash draw, and I go about the business of anointing his table. I said, now, get your ass to work. That child was busy all weekend and made a ton, okay? But it's because he wasn't confident that his prices were good. He didn't want to insult people by charging too much. The point of this all is that your time is worth something. And you have to remember that time is the only thing that you can never make more of. You know, you've only got an allotted amount, so make it count. Now, another reason that people don't draw money to them is because they do a spell and they don't do the mundane follow through. You know, magic is like a door opener. You might need somebody to get your foot in the door because you want this job. You got to have an interview. This is what magic does for you. But you got to do the mundane follow through with it. You know, you can't throw money away and then expect it to come. Okay, you have to continue to draw it. If it's that you are looking for a job, you know, is anybody in here looking for a job and that's why they're at the class? Okay, you know, then you're going to have to fill out applications and send resumes. I mean, it's real simple. My old high priest used to work for the government. And he decided one day he was tired of that. And he just up and quit his job, didn't give any notice, he just walked out. He had a pregnant wife, had a bunch of kids. And so a little while later, a few days later, I went by his house and he answers the door, he's in his underwear, he's watching soap operas. And I said to Herb, how's the job search going? And he points down the hall. And I look. And there's the biggest fucking green candle you ever seen in your life. It's one of those that has like 9 wicks, you know, and it's going. It's about to set the house on fire, just points. And I said to, you know, have you sent any resumes? And he doesn't even take his eyes off the TV, he just points down the hall. And, you know, that was the day I decided it was time for me to get a new high priest. Because this idiot was holding my spirituality in the palm of his hands. And he didn't have enough sense to realize that some stranger wasn't going to knock on his door and say, Mr. Mitchell, you don't know me, but I want you to go to work for me. That shit doesn't happen. That's not what magic is all about. So he had to do the mundane fall through. Does anybody here have specific things they want to discuss in this class? Because I want to get that out of the way first. I mean, you can always ask questions. But if there's a specific reason that you came, a specific problem that you got, let's talk about it. Okay.
I own the pen.
Okay.
And I have product.
Okay.
A lot of them.
Okay.
It's like falling on my face for marketing.
Okay. You know what? That one of the things you need now. Okay. He said that he had a patent and a product. He had a lot of the product, but he was falling on his face with the marketing. Okay? You know, first of all, I would probably do a success spell. Okay? Okay, yeah. And you know what? I actually have products for that. They're called Everything and Then Some. Okay? But yeah, I would probably do a success spell. The other thing is, part of your problem here is in your marketing copy. I'm assuming you've got a website, is that correct? Okay. If you don't know how to write good marketing copy, then you find somebody who can do it for you. When somebody looks at that website, you want them to see the product and be immediately excited about it. It's all in your delivery, it's all in your presentation. I have an online business. It's extremely successful, but it's because I market it well. You can't just show the person why they want the product. You have to show them why they need it. Why they need it now. How it's going to make their life better. Okay? What kind of product is this? Is it? Huh?
Percussion.
It's percussion. Okay. You also need to contact them. So this is like for the music industry. Is that correct? Okay. You need to contact bands in the music industry, manufacturers in the music industry, you know, this kind of stuff, and you market it to them. So design your website to do that, but actually make the contacts. There is nothing better than the personal contact. This might cost you something. You get on your phone and you start making phone calls, and you go, you know, I've got this, blah, 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 blah. Would you have any interest in seeing the brochure or the media kit on this? You send those out. You're going to be surprised. Okay? But success is what you need. If you have success with the product, that's immediately going to bring you money. Okay? If you have success, okay, that the success of the product will bring you the money. Okay? Because it's not just the money. What you need is success with selling this. Okay? Now, what you could do you have a media kit for this? A media kit, okay? A little kit, a folder that tells all about the product, has a nice picture and the specs and all this stuff. Okay, you need to do that. And you can probably do that on your own. And I know none of this sounds magical to y'all, but it really is, because there's magic in the power of words. It's all in delivery. And even when you work magic, it's in your delivery. With every media kit that you send out, it doesn't have to be anything fancy. Get everything you need at Staples or Kinko's or whatever. Okay? Take a money draw oil, and on the back of each page, just rub some on your thumb and smudge the back of each page. Okay? Oil. A money draw oil. Okay? Okay? Yeah. Okay? On your thumb? Okay. Rub it into your thumb. She's writing. She's good. Okay? Yeah. Yeah, rub it into your thumb so you're not really going to leave an oily spot on the back of this. On the back of every sheet that goes in there, you smudge it, you send it off. There are all kinds of little tricks like that with, if you're looking for a job. Okay? One of the best things you can do with that is make a list of the things, the characteristics, the traits that would make that a perfect job for you. Start with your salary, and don't just figure what you need to get by. Because a job that only pays you what you absolutely need to get by isn't worth a damn. You need to be comfortable. Okay? So you figure that. You need to know how many hours a week you want to work. If you need weekends off, what it is you need. You make a list. One of the most powerful magics at your disposal is the written word. When you write it down, it starts to happen. No doubt. When you fill out those resumes, you take a little success oil or attraction oil and you smudge the back of each one. Or even better, lick your thumb. You've put a part of yourself on it. Okay? Smudge the back of each page of that application and resume, send it off. And what this does is this causes your thought form to start being created and get your resume on top. How many of you think that money magic is not manipulative? Oh, look at you. Or do you care? Okay? Okay, good. All magic is manipulative, okay? When you work a money spell, there are a lot of people that don't want to work a money spell because they're afraid that Uncle Fred might die and leave them money, okay? Now, I got to tell you, I want to see the money spell I can use as a murder weapon because there are certain people that need a good killing, and that would be perfect, okay? But there is no money spell that's going to make somebody die. Not just a straight money spell. People have a certain amount of time on this earth, and when their time's up, it's up. And if you wind up getting an inheritance from Uncle Fred because he dropped dead, well, he did that. So he signed that will before you did the money spell, so, you can rest easy with that. But all of it's manipulative. If you do a money spell, and you walk down the street, and in the middle of the street there's $300, and there's nobody around, you take it. Did you manipulate that? Sure. Where did that money come from? Folks, it did not drop out of the sky. John Q. Citizen was walking down the street. He's digging in his pocket. The shit fell out. Do you go to the cops with it? Well, you can do what you want to, but I wouldn't. You asked for money, you got it. The cops are just going to hang on to it, and nobody's going to claim it. So, you have to learn with money especially, you have to learn to accept the cash from whence it comes. I did a money spell years ago, and I got a check in the mail from the phone company. And it was a check for the return of my deposit for the phone. $350. The problem with that was there was never a deposit put up for my phone. My daddy signed for it when I was 18 years old. He'd had a phone forever. There was no deposit required, and yet I've got a check for $350. So I'm honest. I called the phone company. I'm not getting anywhere. They're arguing with me. I asked to speak to the supervisor. I finally get to the regional manager. And she says, Miss Morrison, please just cash this check. And I said, hell no, I'm not going to cash this check. This money doesn't belong to me. And she said, if you don't cash this check, you're going to mess up our records. And we will just have to cut you another one. Just please cash it. So, of course, I'm really pissed now. This is why my fucking telephone bill is so high. Because they're giving money away, right? But I did the money spell. So this is one of those, okay, thank you. I take the money. During that same little period, I wind up with a signing bonus for a book contract. I decide that I need to cash the check instead of bank it. I go to the bank. They have the check, they count out the money, they count out $100 too much. I count it back to them, and I push the $100 aside. Oh no, that's wrong. We went back and forth with this shit. Before it was said and done, I had a teller, a new accounts manager, and the vice president of the bank arguing with me that I couldn't count. Now I got to tell you something, knowing for a fact that they couldn't count made me rethink where I was banking. However, I was worried because I knew that teller was going to be $100 short in her drawer. She was going to have to cough it up. No, they argued with me. I was there for an hour. I took the money. So, I'm not telling you to be dishonest, but what I am telling you is that with money especially, if it comes, don't question the source, just take it. You work the magic, take it. You need to be specific about money. Not necessarily in the amount, but about what it is you want. Some people work magic and they just want more money. Well, you know what? That may mean that they find a penny in the parking lot of the grocery store. It's a penny more than you had. So don't go there. I like to do money magic. If it's specific money for a certain project I'm working on, I ask for enough money for that project to go smoothly. Because that covers a lot of area, okay? If it's, I need more money to come in my life, I ask for enough money for me to be comfortable. What's comfortable for you and what's comfortable for me may be two entirely different things, but you know what's comfortable for you and that's what you need, okay? Don't just ask for it, demand it. And I know that people have trouble with that. But, it's I'm of the opinion that deity lives within me. How many of you believe that? Okay? If you believe that, then what does that mean exactly? If deity lives within you, then you are deity. So, who are you going to insult by asking for something or by demanding it? You're not. You're going to insult yourself? No. How many of you believe that working magic for money is a bad thing? Anybody?
It makes me nervous.
Makes you nervous? Okay, and I'm not going to pick on any of you, but I'm curious. I want to know why. And you're going to have to speak up because people are going to need to hear you.